Look at that. Absolutely destroyed it. Really embarrassed. But I've done it. I forgot I put wiring on this one as well, look. So cross with myself. I don't deserve them. Learning big lessons here. Alright, so it's the 18th of July and my air layering was done, I think, a few months ago. In fact, I think it was the beginning of May. I'll have to check it, I'll put the date up here. However, I've been a little bit unsettled about it because we've had so much hot weather and I don't think I did it properly. So I think what I need to do is go and check them all out individually and see where we're at with them. The one I was most concerned with was this one over here. That was the one my dad gave me, because the growth on this one whole side that I'm air layering from the bottom there, it's just completely different to the side that hasn't been air layered, so something's suffering, and I've also screwed this up. Okay, so I have actually really neglected these Acers that I was air layering, and I had actually been cocky enough to think I could put wiring on it earlier on this year before I started doing anything with bonsais, and I forgot. And it's absolutely, can I get you in there? Ruined the trunk. Look at that. Absolutely destroyed it. Really embarrassed, but I've done it. Also, the air layering, I decided to have a look. I'm glad I did, because I think I've made an absolute mess of that as well. See, let's take this trunk, look. What a mess. I think there might have been some attempt at rooting. Maybe. But at the moment, that's bridged, I believe. It's fine on this side. I think it bridged. Not sure, am I just fighting a losing battle now? I will cut this off if I need to. Just now seeing if actually I can turn this around. Let's get a bit of moisture on it for a minute. What I'm going to do is put it around the right place this time, for goodness sake. I think I went over the top last time with the bubble wrap, with honey, with tin foil. Other people just do it with clear pieces of plastic and sphagnum moss, and I should have just done that. I get carried away. And what I want to do this time is make it so that when I water the plant, the tree, I can actually water in here easier, so it doesn't dry out. There's a load and growth. I believe that's happened because of what I've done here, because it hasn't been delivering up there. It's absolutely shot out, look. A large amount, so I'm not actually that worried if I can, because I've really, really damaged the trunk. I'm really embarrassed with that. Right, when I water, that should then get water, stay moister, because I think that's what I've done as well. I've dried the other one out. Here we go. I think that is a more better chance now, but I am quite convinced that I've probably failed here. That's really bad. Can't even begin to tell you how cross I am with myself. I've learnt a lesson here. I'm now going to go and have to check the air layering on that one. That one was exactly the same, so I've done exactly the same. I've replaced everything, more growth hormone, and hope I can revive that one. But actually this isn't the end of the world. This is actually a small branch. However, I forgot I put wiring on this one as well. Look. So cross with myself. I don't deserve them. Learning big lessons here. Because of that, I need to check this one, don't I? Oh look, I've even wired this one. Oh, Neil. Why did you forget that? Ooh. Look. This one. Look. There's roots everywhere. So that is a success. Now, the question is, do I now cut that one and get it in a pot to give it the best chance? I think I do. We'll double check though. And is that a wasp looking at me or a bee? So it's not been a complete failure. But the one I care least about has been the most successful, isn't it? So, and I can see I've put wire on that one as well. So I'm now going to do some research to see if I can actually cut this one off now and get this one established in a pot as early as possible, so it's got the best chance through winter. I'll come back to you. It's been actually about 4 days since I looked at these, maybe a bit longer. Plan is to get it off under there. Okay. That is suddenly its own tree. Hopefully. It's off there. Got plenty of roots. Just whilst it's like this though, I'm going to need to trim this, I know I am. So that it doesn't have to support all of this life. Not this life, but you know what I mean. So I am going to trim back. There's quite a lot of growth at this end, so I think we'll take that off. And this will be a bit brutal, I think. It's already a lovely little tree, isn't it? I've never done this before, so I might be getting it wrong. If I am, I am. It's the only way I learn sometimes. Let's have a look and see how these roots are. I'm following Peter Chan's method. Well, that's the intention anyway. My intention is then to wrap this again in a bigger ball of sphagnum moss and put that into a pot filled with sphagnum moss for a couple of weeks, sitting in a wet tray. If I've learnt this right. Now I've got to be careful because these roots have actually come through the bubble wrap. So I've got to undo this very carefully. It's kind of ironic, isn't it, that the one that I didn't particularly care about is the one that's the only one that's worked so far. It's a really nice little tree already. I really hope I can keep this going enough, you know. soaking. Okay, that makes life a bit easier. Trunk's already got nice movement, so that's great. Let's get this a bit more moss. And that needs to go in a tray of water, I believe. Now, Peter Chan's video said in about an inch of water. Let's see what we got for a tray. You know, I've reduced the foliage here by half to 2/3, I think. We are 2.5 weeks in now, and I can actually start seeing roots, a few roots coming out the bottom. And from the instructions I've seen online, now is the time for me to pot this up more permanently. This has actually got lots of growth, new growth, loads of it actually, and the existing leaves are doing really well because I protected the ends, I sealed off the branches at the end. So what I decided to do, I did some research, and what I decided to use this time is a pond basket. Everyone seems to think it's the best one, great for the roots, aeration for the roots, and as the roots protrude, they naturally trim themselves off, which promotes growth further back, I think. What I would need to do first, well, what am I going to put in here? I wasn't too sure. I was umming and erring. Does everything have to go in Akadama mix and nothing else? Surely stuff grew in soil, surely stuff grew in compost as well. So I see a lot online, everything seems to end up in this Akadama stuff, and I know it's good for it, but also is it... These are all my Acers have grown in ericaceous soil. Now, I'm not planning on using that. What I've decided to use is the compost mix I bought, and that's got some Akadama and pumice stone in there for aeration. And I know that the Acers, the maples, they like something slightly more acidic. So what I'm going to do is also add in a small amount of the azalea mix that I've used. It's going to sound terrible now. I'll put the proper name up here, but is it Kumar Stoner, slightly acidic, and it's got a little bit of sphagnum moss in there, but I'm not too worried about that. Let's get this out of here first. I can have a sit down actually. So I had tied this in place, if you remember, so I need to be gentle there. I'm doing that. I'm tempted to take the stick with it, just to try and keep things more sturdy, but I am also going to fix down to the pot on the outside, so I'm not sure, maybe I won't. I think the first thing I'll do is pull these back through, straighten these up, this wire up, and pull it out the bottom, I think. Get it out the way so it doesn't catch any roots on the way up. Hopefully not damaging anything. There we go. You see? Hope I'm not jumping the gun. I've let this dry out a bit. I'm hoping. So it's starting to fall apart there. Okay. Let's get some of that out. I'm just trying to be careful about roots. I'm hoping there's a bit more than I can see out the bottom, but I think we're in a position where we can start transferring it safely, at least. Ooh, there's lots of roots. Good. Okay. Obviously I don't want to use all that sphagnum moss, but I'm certainly not going to throw it away, so actually I'm going to put it back in the pot for now. I'm going to expose as much of that. I can see fresh roots, so that's really great, and they're coming across, that's brilliant. It's exactly where I hoped it to be, the down here as well, and that side. Brilliant. Just gently take this off. I don't want to use any tools for this, I just want to take it off gently. loads. I'm just being as gentle as possible. Because I don't want this much sphagnum moss in there. Or am I doing that wrong? Should I just be leaving it? There's loads of roots. This is brilliant. Okay, this is confidence building. This is because actually this is now rooted really well, I think. I'm not going to touch the original root ball. You know, the original sphagnum moss from the air layering. I'm not going to touch that. I'm just trying to remove as much of this so that the new roots go the right way. Look at that. Brilliant. It's a lot more roots than when I took it off the air layer. So I'm really pleased with that. It's obviously, I followed Peter Chan's from Heron's Bonsai, his method, what he said. And it's spread out really nicely. It's been 2.5 weeks. And that's come out really nicely. So now I want to think about how this is going in the new pot. It's a bit like me with the Mugo pines, isn't it? Right, let's get this. New basket, like so. I think it's a good size. I'm just going to put a small layer of lava rock just to have something off the bottom, but I don't want to go too crazy. It's just the bigger stuff. Not a massive amount, just a layer. Then, so what I've got here is the soil, the compost that I've got, and I want to mix some of that into it. I don't want to overdo it. I do like my new workbench area. So I'm just going to mix it up in here for now. Yeah. I don't know how much of this I'm going to need, so I'm just going to mix this up in a smaller amount. So this, I'm hoping, will give it the acidity that it wants. Not too much, but just a bit extra. Let's keep that root base. It's wet anyway, so I don't want to put that direct down on there. But what I do want to kind of decide is the shape of the trunk. It's got quite a nice curve to it, so this is the time to establish which side. But luckily, because I don't want it just going up. No, it's going to sit. Is that sacrilege doing it on the diagonal? I'm not really expecting much more growing this season. I'm expecting it to be sort of concentrating on its rooting. I'm going to use 2.5 just to strap it across. And I want to come over that branch, I think, and tie it down over here. So let's cut that much there. And on this side, I'm going to want something to tie it down to, aren't I? So not a lot actually, I reckon probably about that much. Am I doing this right? The way I envisage this is that goes through there. But I would like to put something on that junction to soften it up, and I'm wondering if I can just put a layer of this. I wonder if I could thread that through there if I peeled some of that off. I bet it wouldn't. Let's try. See if I can thread that, a small amount of it at least, onto there. And I can, look, so. Okay, that's pretty good actually. Really not good at judging volumes yet, so I've probably got more than I need here, but that's fine. Okay. Being gentle with those new roots. Am I making a mistake with the compost and the pond basket? Am I going to regret that? I'm hoping I don't. Will it don't just all wash out, or is it going to, have I made a big mistake? Also, tell me if I made a mistake putting this azalea mix in here as well. It's only a small amount, it's about 10%. But I'm hoping it'll just give this compost that acidic amount that this is going to want to keep it happy. Who knows what that is? If you're English, I know you know what that is, but if you're from abroad, tell me what that music's for. Just got it down here, and I've got it on a couple of bars so I can actually, it can drain freely, hopefully. Let's give it a good soak. Right, that seems to be running through nicely now. I'll just give it a little bit more. That's actually living down there at the moment. It's so hot in the UK. I'm just keeping the moss completely out of the sun and keeping it nicely watered. It's doing alright. I'll do an update later on in the year. Yeah, it does spend a bit of time there at the moment because it's one of the more shaded areas. You've probably noticed I've got a bench. I'll do a video on that, just show you my new addition. However, here we are. So that is nicely soaked through. It's tied in place. I'll deal with that actually. Poke it down. Yeah, that's nice and secure. Got loads of drainage, loads of aeration. It's got some acidity to the soil. See where I damaged this one? But I think that's going to be okay. But what I have got is new growth. So I am confident that this is going to work. The other ones, I'm just going to leave them now, see how they get on. I don't really see the point in adding any more to this video, so I'll wrap this one up here, and I'll let you know how it gets on later on in the year. See you next time.